Hi, hello everyone. Welcome to our webinar. Thank you very much for attending today. My name is Claire Whelan. I'm the Global Summer School Development Manager, and I'll be talking you through the programme today. Also on this webinar, although you can't see them, we have members of our international recruitment team, and they'll be able to help with any questions on undergraduate recruitment as well if they arise today. And I also have our Global Summer School team, so that they'll be in the background helping with your questions. So I will talk today for probably about 20 minutes about the programme, and then please do ask your questions by typing them in today as we go. And if they're quite specific to you, we will answer you back directly within this webinar. And if they're pertinent to the wider audience, we'll go through them at the end and we'll be able to answer them for everyone. So hopefully you'll find that useful. So to start, just go through our website. So what is Global Summer School? You may know a little already, but Global Summer School is a 2-week STEM focused programme. So previously, we have run the programme residentially. This year, we're working fully online, and the programme will run online Monday to Friday for a 2-week period. And in the future, we will have hopefully online programmes and residential programmes. So our programme is aimed at high achieving international 16 and 17-year-old students. And I'll go through what we mean by high achieving and what we're looking for people applying for the programme shortly as well. Students can pick from 3 unique streams when they join, so that's physical sciences or physics, medicine and life sciences, and engineering. We have programme aims for the students. So what can students hope to achieve while they're here, and what do we want to make sure the students achieve while they're with us? So we want to challenge students outside the classroom, and we do that in a supportive environment. Students will be learning lots of new kind of techniques and tools, learning how we work at universities, and hopefully thinking outside the box, working creatively and entrepreneurially, especially with our week 2 projects. But we try and do that in a supportive environment. We realise it's new, we're new to you, and university learning is new to you. So we have lots of people to help you along the way. And again, I'll talk a little bit about those people a bit later on in this presentation. We want students to build their STEM skills. We'll have a lot of lectures, we have a lot of practical sessions on this course. We want to really help think about those subjects, not just in the curriculum they have in school, but thinking about what they want to do in the future and how they can build their skills with us. Personal skills as well, there's a lot that students will be learning in week 2 of the courses. So for our group projects, we'll go again into this in a little bit more detail, but we'll have negotiation, teamwork, presentations, and how to lead projects. There's a lot of skills that you can build there, and they're really important skills, clearly, for the future and for university learning. We want to provide a taste of studying at UK universities. Each discipline, when you go into it, you will find out about what it's like to learn that subject as an undergraduate at university, and what it's like at Imperial, if Imperial's what you're thinking about as one of your choices in the future. What's it like living in London? What's it like studying in the UK? There's all things we want to kind of help you understand in this 2-week session. And we'll also support your application to UK university. So we will have sessions about applying to university and be able to support you there as well. We often get really good feedback from students about how they've really appreciated learning, meeting other students from all around the world and having like-minded students who are really interested in the same things as themselves. And so we really want to bring that again this year and have a chance for you to meet each other and really learn from each other and support each other. So that's a key part of our programme as well. And finally, we want to provide you that high quality experience, not so for your own, just for your own experience, but also to help you with your personal statements for university. It gives you an extra thing to talk about. You'll come out with a lot of knowledge from this outside of what you do in school, and it will give you a really good subject to talk about in those personal statements. So the programme at a glance, as I mentioned, we have those 3 academic streams, so physics, engineering and medicine and life sciences. The programme will also be dotted with the masterclasses into applying for UK universities, and this group project for the last 3 days, which is run by our Enterprise Lab, which is our STEM challenge, where you all come together in multidisciplinary groups with people who have studied all the different courses for Global Summer School, and you work together and use all your creative thinking and ideas to solve real world problems. Dotted around the programme as well, we'll have some social sessions to help you kind of meet your colleagues, your friends, people you're working with in a less formal setting, and help you kind of meet your groups before you have to start working together. So we have 2 sessions. We run the first session Monday 28th of June to the Friday the 9th of July. And that's then repeated in August, so Monday the 2nd of August to Friday the 13th of August. And that's the weekdays only. So they work Monday to Friday, and weekends are then students' own. We do have an application deadline coming up, so that's Monday the 17th of May. So I would encourage you to really get going on those applications. In order to complete an application, we'll talk about that shortly, but you do also need a reference from your teacher. So if it's students who are listening to this today, please, I'd say don't leave it to the last minute, think about your teachers and try and get your application submitted early so they have a chance to write you a lovely reference to support your application. We've run an online programme once before, so we run in 2020, we run our online programme, and we're really grateful to have received 100% recommendation rating from students and parents. We received lots of feedback as well, and I'm really grateful for that. So we were able to kind of use that this year as well to still hone the programme and really answer needs of our students. So we're really proud of this programme. I'm really excited to roll it out this year. So our eligibility and assessment criteria. So what are we looking for from students applying? So we want to see that enthusiasm for STEM and the subject, and why Global Summer School, a clear motivation for attending our Global Summer School. And that's shown within a section. We ask for a small personal statement as part of the application form. So we'd like to hear about you. So tell us about how you're doing in school. Tell us about any extracurricular stuff you've done, what you do in your spare time. It's really nice to kind of get a picture of who you are from that personal statement. Apart from personal statement, we're obviously looking for excellent academic ability. So what we mean by that is generally looking for A's across the board in all subjects, but definitely A's in the relevant STEM subjects and maths when you're applying to us. A's obviously is, I know everyone has different boards. We're talking about international students, you all have different grading systems. We do on our website have a page where we kind of list the most frequently submitted application boards like International Baccalaureate and others, and it gives you kind of what we're looking for out of those. So do have a look at the website if you're not sure, or come to us and ask us. We're very happy to help on that, to answer any of those kind of questions. We do look for strong English language skills. So obviously, if you're a native speaker, you don't have to prove that. If you are taught in English at school, you don't have to prove anything to that. You just need to tell us, and that will be backed up by your teacher's reference. But if you don't, we need some kind of proof of your English, and we list again on our website what kind of proof that we look for. We really understand this is a very difficult year. Test centres are closed or have been closed, so we're trying to be as flexible as possible. I think on our website we mention an online test you can do now, so you can go online and do an English language test and get results, and we're happy with that. If you can't even do that, because I realise it's quite late today, just get in contact and we'll try and work with you to find a way of assessing your English your English language skills. Don't use that as a barrier to not get in touch or not apply, but we'll work with you on that, that's fine. And really important though is your age. We can't accept anyone who isn't 16 on or before the 31st of August this year. So you can be 15 if you're about to turn 16 on the 31st of August, but you must not reach 18 anywhere during the programme. So you have to be 17 or less while you're on the programme, and that's quite a strict criteria. When we're assessing applications, we won't even get to look at the application form if you haven't met that age criteria, I'm afraid. So moving on, the assessment process. So there are a few stages. We tried to make it as painless as possible, but I'm sorry, there is a few stages for the application process. The first one is to students to submit a form online. So as I mentioned, it can't ask for your academic grades. It asks for a personal statement and just details about you, where you are, where you're from, what school you go to, contact details, and you about your English language and your age, as I said. So we try and make it as painless as possible. Once you've submitted a form, we ask for a guardian reference and a teacher's reference. So the student will add that into the form, and as soon as they hit submit, 2 emails will ping off to the guardian and to the teacher, or whoever the reference is, a guidance counsellor, and we will ask for those references to be submitted. Again, it's generally just saying, it shows the form of the student, says, are these details correct? For the parent, we just want them to know that their child is applying for this and that generally what they've put down is correct, and the parent has an opportunity to add anything in that they want to there, if there's any really pertinent information they want us to know. With the teacher's reference, again, we're just checking through it, ask like, are these grades correct that are on the form? And it just asks you to kind of, again, give a little bit more information about the student, and it just gives us a second opportunity to find out a bit more about the student as well. Our students sometimes are very humble, and in their own personal statements, they don't always tell us everything about themselves, and then we get these glowing references from teachers or guidance counsellors saying all these wonderful things they do. So it's a great opportunity to just kind of find out a little bit more about the student as well. Once we get those 3 items in, that's called a completed application. And it's at that point, when we have those 3 items, we then assess. So that's when we have a 10 working day assessment period. And you will definitely guarantee to hear from us after 10 working days with a result from your application. Now, we'll try and do that much quicker, at the moment, especially coming up to the deadline, but you'll definitely hear within that 10 working days. There's options. So you'll either get a conditional offer, or you'll unfortunately be not accepted. If you get a conditional offer, what that means is we're very happy with your form, we'd be very delighted to have you on the programme, but we now just need some supporting documents to prove what you've said in your application form is correct. So we'll give full information. Again, it's on our website if you want to look in a bit more detail in advance, but we'll also give the information at that point of what we're looking for you. So it's generally something to prove your age. It will be something to prove that academic requirements. And of course, if you need to submit English language certificates, it'll be something to just submit in your application at that point as well. Sorry, splitting your certificates at that point as well. Supporting documents are submitted. We ask for that to be done within 5 working days. And then we really quickly check those documents. We'll do that within 3 working days. Again, hopefully less, but it just gives us the chance to go through everything, ask any questions we need to. Generally at that stage, it's very quick, unless, students don't write erroneous things on their application forms normally, where we have to double check them. It's normally backed up quite quickly. So it's a quick process, and then we can give the unconditional offer, which just means everything's great, we're very happy with it, you're accepted, but just to confirm that place, you need to pay the payment fee to completely confirm the place, and that's £1,845. You have a 7-day window to do that, but unfortunately we can't hold any places beyond that, especially now we're coming close to deadline. We need to move on and be able to offer more students those places, otherwise other students lose out. So as I said, that deadline for applications is Monday the 17th of May. So I realise it's not that long now, so if for any guidance counsellors here today, anything, if you're happy to pass the information on to students so they can get cracking with their application forms, are really grateful. And students, I'd just encourage you to get started as soon as possible so you can see what's there and ask any questions. We're here to help. So programme delivery, what's it going to look like this year online? Well, we'll primarily be using Microsoft Teams classrooms. So that's where all the students will go and log in and find everything they need. But we'll have lots of different kind of elements along there to make it really interactive, to really help participation. But everything will be taught and shown and have lots of kind of instruction about. So students don't need to worry about having skills in advance or practicing. It will just all be kind of shown to them while they're here. Protecting students online is obviously a cornerstone of our programme and student welfare, and we've worked, you know, the building of all of this programme and the software has been with student welfare in mind. So we have really considered that, and we have a safe environment here for our students. We've got a separate Teams environment that we've set up for them, which is secure, and students will be sent unique login information, which obviously we ask them not to share for the platform, and students' details aren't kept in the platforms at all. So there's no information that can be accessed to help keep students safe. For students, though, to fully participate, there's a few things we obviously suggest. Clearly, they'll need a computer or laptop. We hope that they can have a private space during their working hours here, just so that they can really kind of fully participate without distraction. But I understand it's really difficult at home. I have family here, and it can get a bit noisy at home when we're all here together. So I understand, but I think if students can kind of put that together and have a quiet space, that's wonderful. A stable connection to the internet is really important, so they can fully participate. We suggest people can use a cable rather than Wi-Fi if they're having problems, and obviously a microphone and a web camera. We don't force students to be online visually on or use their microphone, but to fully participate, we encourage students to be fully online, so they can see their colleagues, they can work in groups the best they can. So our timetable, this is the timetable that we have on our website. It's quite a generic one because it's all the different streams and how it will work, but I will go through in a sec a little bit more about each individual stream, and hopefully that will help get a better idea of what's going to be happening over the 10 days. But generally, this is how we'll look. We'll have welcome lectures and welcome activities on the first day, and then we'll launch in the afternoon into our first lectures, our academic lectures. So you'll have a chance to start finding out quite early on about UK universities, London, and then going into your streams a little bit about what it's like studying that subject at university, and then your initial lectures. And then you'll see throughout then basically the first 7 days of the programme, the first week and into the second week, you'll have your academic sessions. So there'll be a mixture of lectures and seminars. The lectures, we realise this is kind of quite 9 to 5, and we've got a lot of international students. And we've thought about a lot of different ways of doing it and whether we wanted lots of pre-recording. GSS is a really participative course. It's hands-on, it's about people coming together and sharing ideas. And although I know a lot of online courses have a lot of pre-recorded work, which you can do in your own time, for GSS, we really wanted to keep that participation element. And that is the feedback we got from last year. We had lots of people all over the world coming online, possibly not the most social hours for them, to collaborate and work together. And the feedback was, yeah, it wasn't great hours, but we understood why, and we enjoyed that element of the programme. So we have kept that this year, and those practical elements we do kind of expect students to be at. We try to be as reasonable as possible. So when it comes to things like lectures, we will have them live for everyone who can attend live, and we will record them so that people can catch up. And then we have breaks between the lecture and the seminar. So there's often the next day the practical seminar. So people who haven't been able to attend the lecture can then catch up quickly, have their questions ready, ask them at the beginning of the practical sessions, and then jump into their groups and do the practical. So we hope that helps a little bit as well with unsociable working hours. So this is our week 1. And then week 2, we again, as I said, we've got a couple of days carrying on the academic, and then we launch into our Enterprise Lab STEM Challenge. So that's our project running throughout week 2, where you all come together and you work in multidisciplinary groups, as I said. So we'll have a group with medicine and life sciences people, physics people, and engineering people working together to solve problems. And then we finalise on the last day there for the projects. You'll have group challenges you'll present, and you'll have winners and projects. So that will how we'll finish the week on week 2. So course breakdown, I've mentioned now the academic lectures and seminars, and I'll go through a little bit about the breakdown of those different streams. We have social sessions, and that's just to help, chat with the with friends, as I said, and colleagues in a more informal setting with us online, and also to have some icebreakers as well. You want to be able to talk to people in your groups before we have to jump into doing project work, so you'll get a chance to do that as well. And our masterclasses, so these always get really good feedback from our students, and they're run by our international recruitment team, who are here today in the background answering questions, and they run different sessions for us to help you apply for UK universities. So you will cover things like your interview skills, your personal statements, and your applying generally to a UK university and what's it like studying here. So as I said, students have found this really valuable, so hopefully students this year will really appreciate those as well. And there's a chance to answer all your questions, and we can also help kind of writing your statements in those sessions as well if you're near to applying to university. So a quick run through of the academic sessions. So I'll start with physics. Sorry, I'm going to have a quick look at the notes. So I'm sorry if I'm looking down a little bit while I'm saying this. But students will be taught theoretical concepts that are central to mathematics and physics. And then they'll apply that to a range of activities throughout those 7 days. So with physics, we concentrate on the theory of oscillations and theories behind oscillations. And students will produce simulations, and you'll use a range of different kind of platforms and software to be able to do that. So you start with using Python, which I'm sure you've heard about. It's a key programming language that's used at university and beyond. So you'll be taught how to use it and then apply that for these practical sessions. Students will also use Jupyter Notebook. So if you've heard about that, that's an application which allows you to collaborate to create code, equations and text in one place. And again, I know with Imperial and other universities, it's used really heavily for kind of group work and projects throughout university. So it's a great chance to kind of try that out. And then there's other kind of parts of Python you'll use as well. So there's different libraries such as, I don't know if you've heard of NumPy, which is about high-level mathematics, SciPy, which is a library of modules for optimization, linear algebra and other things. And there's something called Matplot library, which is a library for embedding plots into applications. So it's a really good chance to try all these things out before you get to university, because they are things that I use a lot. So, I mean, gosh, if you hate it, it's a good chance to kind of try it out as well, but hopefully you'll love it. And then you'll work in teams in the week to put together presentations. You'll bring all that learning from the week together, put it into presentations in groups, and you'll present them on the last day of that academic session. For medicine and life sciences, you'll cover 3 areas. So that's medicine, which is for 3 days, clinical skills for a day, and then life sciences for 3 days. So medicine sessions have an overarching theme of kind of science and interwoven clinical application. So you'll kind of cover parts of concepts of what forms the undergraduate medicine syllabus, such as diabetes, NHS values, and other topics. For life sciences, you'll cover subjects such as genetically modified bacteria strains and new artificial characteristics. And for the day of clinical skills, you'll work with our cardiology lecturer at one of our teaching hospitals who'll go through skills with you then for the day. Engineering is it's a taste of sessions of lots of different types of engineering. Obviously, we have so many different disciplines of engineering at Imperial. We want to give our engineering students a chance to really think about those different disciplines. So you'll have a lecture and a seminar, practical session in lots of different areas to try and get a feel for all of those areas and what might be right for the students to carry on in the future. So we're talking about kind of chemical engineering, material science, earth science and engineering, civil engineering, mechanical engineering and design engineering. So that will cover over those kind of 7 days as well. And I'll give you a great chance to find out about those different subjects, what it's like to learn at university, apply it, and then do a practical session and have some practical learning on those as well. So that's our kind of 3 areas of GSS and the academic side. Our week 2 project, I said the last 3 days, is our enterprise lab project. And this is really exciting. It's a real way to shake it up, I think, in week 2 and learn different types of skills. And it's really important because actually a lot of courses, and Imperial definitely, you have a lot of group work which will be applied and get you marks for your undergraduate courses and can form big parts of your courses. I know a lot of in year 2 have big projects, group projects, and you have to learn those skills about working together and negotiating, pushing your ideas, but knowing and bringing along people with you, but doing it in a collaborative way. So our enterprise labs projects are going to be really exciting. I'm sure our students will love them. They love these kind of projects we do year on year. So you'll have introductions that the last few days into the project team, finding out what is entrepreneurship and how to apply these kind of creative ideas. You'll go into the topic. They'll give you a real world problem which you'll be solving in your groups over those 3 days, and you'll get lots of help and support along the way. So you'll get support into how do you research a problem, an intro into ideation. So how do you generate ideas and how do you choose ideas for these kind of projects? And then intro into pitching. So you'll get some great pitching experience and a chance to do that in front of your other groups and your colleagues at the end of the week. So you'll pitch your ideas and then there'll be some winning teams at the end of that. So that's our group projects. So that hopefully gives you a good idea of the course breakdowns and what you'll be covering over those 2 weeks. So program support. These are the people who will be here to support students over those 2 weeks. So obviously our team, the Global Summer School team, is here now. Contact us anytime, please get in contact. We'd love to hear from you. All the way through the programme, we'll be actually in on the sessions as well and helping produce them and facilitating them. We're there for you all the time. And after, obviously, so any questions afterwards, anything further support, if you're then thinking of applying to Imperial in the future, get in contact. We can put you in contact with the international recruitment team. And we're here all the time for you. So our Imperial teachers and teaching assistants, these courses are going to be taught by our undergraduate teaching fellows here at Imperial. And they're here, they're really engaged, and that's the feedback we always get from our students. Our teachers are so engaged with our students while they're in the classroom, so please ask them anything. They'll talk about their experiences. We've had them talking about I think it's mechanical engineering lecturers have been talked about their experience of working in the oil industry, for example, before coming back and working in academia. And so really kind of use them, get everything you need while you're in the classroom from them. We'll have mentors for you. So these are Imperial students that are there to support you throughout your journey. So we have pastoral mentors and academic mentors, and they'll be there. You'll be assigned mentors, so you'll have a go-to person. The students will have a go-to person while they're here on the programme. And they're there to ask again anything. I think previously our GSS students have said they'd really like just asking them like how expensive things are in London, or what is it like living here, or what's it like being an Imperial student, and you'll get some really good answers from people there. So hopefully they'll be really supportive as well. And then the designated safeguarding. So that's myself, as Claire. I'm the development manager for the programme, and I will be available at all times, and students will know what to do if they have any concerns and where to go for any mental health support. We will certainly signpost that for students while they're here as well. We want to be as supportive as possible. And if anyone has any questions between now and the programme, please do come to me about safeguarding or safety online or any concerns that you have. I'm here and I'm so happy to talk about anything. So please do come to me. And then what will I gain? I think, again, we're going through really what we said about what the aims for the students. So again, it's an opportunity to study students' chosen subject outside of the school curriculum, a chance to have a break outside, the school time to think about their chosen subject and how it can move forward for them. Access to live lectures and seminars taught by world-class Imperial academics. So these are the people that are going to teach students as undergraduates. So it's a real chance to kind of feel what it's going to be like as an undergraduate and see these teachers that'll teach them, and again ask them anything while they're here. We want you to students to learn entrepreneurial and personal skills. So this is the team projects. I think really you'll gain a lot of skills from doing these projects, and a chance to really think about quite large real world problems and how people solve them and how people work to solve them, and a thorough understanding of applying to UK universities from our masterclasses and speaking to us. And what are admissions tutors looking for applications and interviews for applying? So you'll get an understanding of that as well. And as we said, it's a chance to meet and work alongside other students who are like-minded, have the same goals in the future, and from all around the world with all different kind of cultural backgrounds. And I know that our students are very outward-looking and very interested in other students. So I'm hoping again that will be a great pull for the programme. And of course, you'll get a certificate at the end awarded by Imperial College for participating on Global Summer School programme. So that comes to the end of this presentation. I hope it's given you a bit of a very quick insight into how to apply, when to apply by, who we are, and what we're looking for and what you'll gain from the programme. We may have some questions coming through from students. A lot of them probably are. We often find that they're quite individual and specific to the students, so we'll have been writing back individually to you all as well. But what I'll do now is I'll ask my colleagues if they can call out any personal questions that might be relevant for a whole team. What we'll then do is, if we find we have a lot, if you haven't had your personal questions answered by the end of the session, please do stay on when we finish, because our team will carry on writing questions to you individually and we'll respond to your questions, but we might not just get them all done within the time here. So do hang on to this webinar afterwards if you're still waiting for a response. So can I maybe hear from, is there any questions from maybe
Ilya? Hi Claire. We have a few questions, so I'll read them out to you. The first one is, what would the size of the student groups be for the projects?
Yeah, it's a really good point. We'll probably have about 10 people per group. We don't want to go any more than that, because we want everyone to have a role within that project, but we want it to be large enough that you feel confident within that group and you have a range of ideas coming through. So it'll be about a maximum of 10 people per project group.
Ella is going to ask another question. Oh, actually, I'll do it. What provisions are there for time differences with international students?
Yeah, a really good point. So, I mean, I don't know if that question came through before. I was talking a little bit about the timetable, but we have tried to keep you in mind and keep what we feel is the strong kind of points and the cornerstones of the GSS programme as well. So clearly, as I was saying, the GSS programme is really about being fully collaborative, working together, finding ideas, hands-on science. So we've thought about different ways of doing that. And as I said, we ran last year and gave some feedback. So unfortunately, a lot of this programme is going to be within the UK timetable. And we try to think about where we put those sessions within the day. So you can see kind of that timetable that I showed is also on our website as well. So do go and have a look at it if you're concerned about timings. And we've tried to kind of set the sessions so they kind of try and cover as most, you know, as social hours for the most time zones as possible. As I said, with things like lectures, we'd love you to be there live, but we totally understand you might not be able to be present for all of those. So we're going to record all of the lectures. And then we've left a gap. So often then the practical session for that lecture, instead of normally having them back to back, will be the next day. So it'll give everyone a chance to catch up, look at the lecture, bring their questions to the practical session seminar, and then get involved in seminar. So hopefully it'll cut down the amount of unsociable hours you will have. And unfortunately, the week 2 projects, again, will be on UK timescale. So I do understand that's probably not the best solution for everyone. And there are a lot of courses I know out there which are nearly fully pre-recorded, but we just don't think you'll get the same experience as you will from this course. We really value, we know our students really value those kind of participation elements. We just don't want to lose those this year. So we have kind of kept that online. But where we can, we're going to record sessions. And you can watch it at your own level, and the same with the masterclasses and things like that. So we'll record them, and you can watch them at your own pace. Thank you. Do we have any other questions?
Hi Claire, yes, we have one here. I was wondering if you could let me know how many hours of additional work we'd be expected to do after classes.
Oh, none. It's all in class. So you'll be given a topic. you'll learn about it, and you'll do the practical subject in class. So we don't have homework for this class. The only thing you might have is the odd things you might have in advance. We'll give you plenty of warning. It normally goes out a few weeks in advance of the courses if there's any pre-reading to do. So generally we don't have any, but I know, for example, for physics, you'll have some calculus pre-reading to do, and it's just to make sure everyone's on the same level before they start, because there's a lot of kind of calculus involved in the oscillations course and kind of Python. So it's just making sure that you feel happy with your level of calculus before the course. And again, you know, if you have any questions, it gives you time to come back to us as well. But it's pretty straightforward. But certainly there'll be no homeworks during the course or evenings. It's just attending those online courses. And I probably should have said as well, the contact hours is about 50 hours. So you can see from going through the timetable, there's a lot of kind of contact hours in those times. But again, hopefully that kind of really gets the most out of those 2 weeks with us as well. Thank you.
So we have another question. Would taking part in this programme increase the chances of a student being accepted to Imperial?
Yeah, I mean, Imperial is obviously assesses. If you run me to say, yeah, of course, if you come to this, you're going to have more chance of finding that. It's not the case. You know, they're very, you know, they scrutinise every application. It's very difficult getting into Imperial, and it will remain so whether you come to GSS or not. It will be on your academic grades and your background, or whether you come to, you know, are you able to get a place in Imperial. But what it does show, I think, you know, people do know about GSS, obviously, at Imperial. They know what students have done. It's a rigorous course for 2 weeks. It's given them an insight into their subject. It's given them a really good insight into what it's like studying at Imperial. So perhaps you can say, like, a GSS student has a realistic view of what it's like to study here as well. You know, it's important that we have students here who aren't going to start courses as well and think, oh no, it's not for me. And I think this gives you a better insight into Imperial. And also we do have a lot of students coming back. So what really we're doing is we're assessing in line with undergraduate standards, really, when we're assessing for Global Summer School. So we do have good, you know, return rates of students coming back as undergraduates, and it is lovely because I see all these faces I know as undergraduates around campus, and it's wonderful to have kind of that previous GSS cohort back as undergraduates. So I hope that helps. But you know, clearly it's Imperial is, you know, they're not going to give leeway to people because they've been to GSS, but it is a great thing to talk about on your personal statement. It gives you that extra things that you can talk about, and to talk about working with our lecturers here, that you've done these kind of quite intense courses for 2 weeks, and it gives you a lot to talk about as well. So I hope that helps. Thank you. Any other questions?
Hi Claire, yeah, we have another one here. So is there anything that students will need to have available to participate in the programme?
Yeah, we will give you lists. We're not going to give you lots of things. You won't have to go out and buy lots of things or anything like that. It's for the programme, but we will get back to you, I mean, nearer the time with lists. So for example, on last year, we made structures so people had A4 paper, and they weren't allowed to use sellotape, and they weren't allowed to use lots of other things to do it. So we might ask you to get some simple things together. But you know, it's mainly working online. So it's making sure your connection's good, that you have like that microphone and camera. Obviously a notebook and pencil, so you can take notes yourself as you go. But we don't expect you to go out and buy lots of equipment for this, but there might be the odd thing that we'll just ask you to do. If there's software and things like that, it will be free, and we'll give it to you in advance for different streams, and let you download things in advance, so you'll have everything you need. But again, we get back to students once enrolled with more information, and in plenty of time for you to kind of sort it out before the programme.
Hi Claire, another question.
Yeah.
How many total students will be attending GSS?
Well, we do keep them short, so it is a small course. We expect to have about 50 per stream maximum, because of the kind of collaborative nature and participation. We don't have kind of huge lectures. I know some courses will have lots and lots of people on them, but this is you know, a smaller course relatively, so that when we break you up into groups, that we can work with you quite closely, and that you have a lot of teacher time and chance to kind of raise your questions. So I think relatively it's pretty small compared to kind of other courses.
Hi Claire, we have another question here.
Yeah.
So what's the average age of participants on the programme?
Well, I mean, everyone's 16 to 17 on there, so it really is 16 or 17. So I don't think there's an averages either. I mean, we get both equally, really. I don't think it's one or the other. So yeah, it's a range, but within that very small range, really. It's rare to get 15-year-olds because you can only be 15. Obviously, you have to have turned 16 by the 31st of August. So it's rare we have 15-year-olds. It's mainly 16 to 17-year-olds.
Okay. How much is the course fee?
So it's £1,845, and that's for the full, obviously, 2 weeks course.
Are there any performance assessments and any credit for higher studies, for example, at undergraduate level?
Yeah, and that's a really good question. We don't have high school credit for GSS. We're thinking about other options and other kind of programs we can offer in future. It's something we'll think about. For GSS, it really is that kind of undergraduate experience, and we want people not to worry too much in a way about the end result. There's a lot about, it's about learning, and it's about enjoying that learning over summer. So it's about finding out new things and finding out new ways of working. What's it going to be like working at university? I've said you're going to be learning lots of new software, lots of new things. You know, you have to really throw yourself into those week 2 projects. And some people get quite, nervous about that sometimes, because you have to be really, as I said, creative, you're being imaginative, and you're just throwing ideas out. And I think sometimes, like, if we put lots of kind of, you'll get a mark at the end of it, it might kind of put a bit more reserve on people. And it really is about this. These 2 weeks are about the experience as well as the learning. So that's why we don't currently have, high school credit or anything like that on there. But you will get the participation certificate at the end. Sorry, did I answer that question? Was there another part to it apart from the high school?
No, I think you answered it. Yeah, you answered
it. Do we have any other questions?
Yes, we have another one, and the question, sorry, let me just find it, it keeps disappearing. What do the interactive sessions involve for the students?
Yeah, so there's obviously lots of things. I want to think a few examples I can talk about now, but so looking at, for example, looking at last year, we in civil engineering, we talked about building structures, and everyone built structures on their own and had a camera on and talked about the structures they were making. And obviously we were looking at ones that could get the tallest, or we look at structures in other that can hold the most strength and weight on there without kind of reaching their breaking point. So there's different ways of kind of having practicals in those sessions that kind of working from home, and some of it will be kind of demonstrations, and some of it you'll be able to have some hands-on work yourself as well. And as I said, there's some which is like software that you'll get as well. So you'll get to download this software and then you'll work on it in groups. So I know you can produce kind of design engineering before we've had software that you're able to build and make, and then again it's the groups that have been able to get furthest with that build using the software, so designing kind of engineering software. So kind of there is a range of kind of different interactive sessions depending on what you're doing.
I think you've already touched on this a bit, Claire, but we've got a question here about the computer programs and software that will be used, particularly in the engineering stream.
For engineering stream, yeah. So I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I think the main software is probably in the chemical engineering program, which again, I think they were looking at fluid dynamics, and they were using some software. We use some software there to kind of do some modelling and testing there. In mechanical engineering, for example, we've done isometric drawing and do isometric drawing there. Science and engineering, it's most likely to be looking at smart materials and and looking at kind of the different kind of properties of smart materials. So there's a range of different things, but not huge amount of kind of programming on there. But yeah, there will be different kind of software, but I think engineering, as I said, there's a range, and there's a kind of a lot of practical skills as well in those practical sessions. If there's something you particularly want to know about, if there's something you want to do, I'd say to the person who asked, if you want to get in contact, please do, and I'm really happy to talk you through those as well. So if there's something particularly you wanted to learn or do, please do get in contact and we can kind of talk you through that.
We have a question about the deadline. So the last date for applying is the 17th of May. Does that just include submitting the online application, or does that include receiving the references as well?
That's the references as well, yeah. So in order to get a completed application, we need to have the student's application submitted, that guardian's reference submitted, and the teacher's reference submitted. So all those three things together make a completed application, and that's what we need by the 17th of May. Other questions?
Yes, will the sessions be run by Imperial College professors and teachers?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so our undergraduate teachers, our teaching fellows will run all of those academic sessions, and our enterprise lab will run those group projects in week 2. To give you a real good feel of Imperial. So you'll get to be taught by people who teach those subjects at undergraduate level, so students can find out they'll get a really good taste there. And a lot of these lectures are based on undergraduate studies at Imperial as well, so you'll get a good taste of the types of subjects you'll be covering as an undergraduate as well. And then, as I said, to show the kind of diversity of stuff at Imperial, we have the Enterprise Lab will lead those week 2 projects, because Imperial is not just about learning your disciplines, it's really is, a outward-looking global institution. There's a huge amounts of collaboration globally, and within Imperial we have these amazing departments like Enterprise Lab, where people come together disciplinary, and Hackspace, where people prototype and come together ideas. And so people are making apps, people are making companies here and going on, so with great success. So you can actually subscribe to like Enterprise Lab newsletters and hear about all the kind of wonderful things that Imperial students are doing together, and all the things that they've gone on to do in the future and winning awards for these new companies. So yeah, a bit of a chance to kind of find out lots of different areas of Imperial while you're here on the course as well.
We have a question about the medicine and life sciences stream. What would the practical sessions be like?
Yeah, I mean, it's they'll cover different things. So clinical skills, again, you might have some demonstrations and things that you can do at home, and you'll have kind of data as well, and data analysis. So like some of the other streams, you'll have a chance to kind of look at some findings. So you might have research findings, for example, and have a chance to analyse that and look at different ways of interpreting that. And I'll talk to you about those kind of clinical studies or life science studies, and then you'll get a chance to use that data and come up with solutions yourself within those seminars. But yeah, I know I'm glossing over. I can't go into lots of detail today. I know we're running out of time, but do kind of get in contact as well if there's any especially if your specific course that you want, if there's things you want to get out of it, do get in contact with us as well afterwards, and we can certainly kind of speak to you and help kind of answer any questions and make sure it's the right course for you. Anything else?
Yeah. So will the session recordings be available after the course?
The session recordings, yes. So we will not for a long time after GSS has ended, but during GSS, and potentially a little while afterwards. We'll give you the dates when they're available too, but they're generally available during the course. So if you miss a lecture, you'll be able to catch up on a lecture, but they're not going to be there forever for you to kind of watch in entirety. But during the course, you'll be able to view them and then catch up if you can't do them live, and then you'll do the practical sessions that are related to them, as I said, like the next day.
We have another question. We're in the medical and life sciences course, would we be able to understand COVID?
We're not actually focusing on COVID this year. What I would say, I mean, there's reasons for that as well. You know, clearly it can affect lots of people in different ways, and some people can be quite anxious about that. We're not going to kind of particularly cover COVID. You can certainly ask our leaders about COVID in your lectures. I mean, if there is even, you know, if we get a lot of demand for it, we could certainly even kind of think about adding some information to the session. What I would also point you towards, if you go onto our YouTube channels, there's some amazing lectures put together on different areas of COVID and how Imperial have been working, you know, on research and all the kind of areas that Imperial are working on. And really interesting, there's, I think, 10 lectures put together, and they've been put together for your age group as well. So I would certainly kind of look at those as a resource. And in fact, we can, if we get a lot of demand for it, we can ask students, we can also add them to your classrooms as well if you want to kind of look at them. So we have those available, and they are very interesting, but it's not part of the key kind of content we're doing this year, because we wanted to give you some of those undergraduate kind of course experiences that you're going to get. And when you come to university, you're probably not going to be kind of doing a lot of lectures and topics on that as much, you know, as an undergraduate. So it probably didn't give you as much of a feel of university as the kind of topics we decided to cover. I hope that helps. Any other?
Yes, Claire, is there, in the timetable, are the timings of the sessions in British time?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, so that was UK time on there. So yeah, that's the session. So anything that's mentioned as a lecture, as I said, we'll record it for you, and you can watch it in your own time. But anything that's a practical session or the you know, the enterprise lab week 2 project, you would have to do it within those our timescales, unfortunately.
Hi Claire, what happens if you are not able to attend every single class?
As I said, the lectures you can watch pre-record and watch later. And then the seminars, we would expect you to be there. Obviously, we'd expect you to tell us if you can't. If you know you definitely can't in advance, please just talk to us, and we'll talk through that and see how we can help. It's good to know, rather than people just not turn up. But we would expect a certain percentage of kind of participation in order to finish the classes. So just try to attend if you can, or if you're going to find this difficult, just as I said, get in contact with us and we can talk you through anything and be as supportive as we can. Any other questions? Is that it? Have you got more?
There's one more from me, sorry.
Yeah, sorry, just went quiet.
Has the content and syllabus of different streams been decided upon? And can you give us a little bit more detail about what will be taught in those streams?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know when that question came in. I'm hoping I've now answered that a little bit, because I've gone through the kind of different streams and what you'll be taught. And if you're looking for more information than that, then please do, if I haven't answered it, do get back in contact, either write in the post now or email us. You can see our email addresses on screen now, globalsummerschool@imperial.ac.uk, or, you know, call us anytime during our 9 to 5 our time GMT, and we'll be able to chat you through on the phone as well. So whatever way suits you, get in contact if I haven't answered that for you already, and we can provide a bit more information.
It looks like that might have been the last question, Claire.
Great. Well, that's us. That takes us to time anyway. So thank you for have you managed to type in? Are you still answering typed questions as well?
There still are a couple, so if they haven't been answered in this, or we haven't received a response, we'll type it now.
Brilliant, thank you. So thank you very much for everyone who attended today. I hope that was useful. And again, please go in contact. I really like talking to students and counsellors and everyone about our programme, so get in contact if you'd like any information. Remember that deadline, 17th of May. And if you haven't had your question answered, please stay on, and our team will be writing back and continue to write. When I leave this, turn off my screen on the webinar, there's still the team here responding to questions. So just hang on and you'll get a response to your question. So thank you very much again, everyone, for attending. And I hope to see all the students soon at Global Summer School. Thank you.